Okay, hi, everybody.
Hi, Marina.
Hi.
Hi. It's March 7th, and welcome back to our March meeting. Tonight we have a special guest, Abby Katz, from Deputy Supervisor from the town of Mamaroneck. And she's here for a specific reason, which is that let's start the meeting first. Motion to start the meeting.
I make a motion to start the meeting.
Jane and Melinda. Melinda
Okay.
second.
Okay. And it's
It's 7:05.
Yeah, 7:05. Okay.
So I'll just finish what I was saying. Abby, welcome. Thanks for making time to be at our meeting. In 1 minute, we're going to jump right to our first order right after we approve the February minutes, and that is the Poet Laureate, the status of our search for Poet Laureate, and that's why Abby is here from the town to join us. So first thing, let's approve the February minutes. And I think all of us had time to look at them, and if there is no problem, can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Who made the motion?
Melinda.
I approve them.
Linda. Okay.
And second,
I second.
Okay, Carla. Okay.
great, thank you for that.
I guess, yes.
So we're going to launch into poetry. We have a lot of different things to talk about with poetry, and I'm going to turn it over to Solange, who has been heading up our 3-person committee on selecting the new Poet Laureate, which we're really excited about. So Solange.
Okay, thanks, Marina. As Marina pointed out, the search subcommittee was Jane Dorian, Elizabeth O'Rourke, and myself. The applications came into my email address, and we received 3, all very strong applications. We met here in the Regatta at my place yesterday to review these 3 candidates and come up with a recommendation to bring to the council today. So what we looked at when we were looking at the candidates is we looked at what is the length and depth of their involvement here in the village and the town. What is their academic background? What are their credentials? How much published poetry have they had? What's the quality of the poetry? Have they had teaching or coaching experience with young people and adults? Did they show some enthusiasm for this position? Did they, in their cover letters, come up with any creative ideas that would support poetry? And was there a connection to Mary Louise Cox's ideals and her legacy? The 3 people who submitted applications were Michael Collins, and they had to live, of course, in the village or town, Sarah Robbins Evans, and Melissa Joplin Higley. All of the applications were very careful, detailed. They checked off all the boxes that we asked for: cover letter, resume, work samples, etc. Here's how we deliberated. Michael Collins has resided in Mamaroneck for 12 years. He holds 3 academic degrees, including an MFA in creative writing and an MA in literature. He is an adjunct assistant professor at NYU. He has a significant body of work, and he has years of experience participating in and running poetry readings. His years of teaching include children's classes at Hudson Valley Writers Center, 2 adult students, some learning English as a second language, and of course his current teaching at NYU, which is English. Some of his poetry he has a significant number of poems, and there were several with a specifically Mamaroneck theme, such as the Sacrosanct Mallard of Mamaroneck. I'm really sorry for that car alarm, if you can hear it. I'm really sorry. He had ideas in his letter, talked about workshops for children and adults, and liaising with local historians. Melissa Joplin Higley has been here for 4 years. She has 3 degrees, including an MFA in writing with a concentration in poetry. Interestingly enough, she turned to writing after 24 years as a sound engineer, specifically with touring Disney shows. She's been published in poetry journals. She's at work on her full-length book. Her teaching experience covers 3 years, mostly with adults, and she suggested a program called Poetry Walks for young people, exploring natural space in the village and composing original poetry. Finally, Sarah Evans has resided here for 31 years. She has 3 academic degrees, including an MA in writing. She was a friend of Mary Louise Cox's. She studied poetry with her and participates in Elizabeth's poetry workshops. She has been an elementary school teacher for more than 25 years, has published 2 books, and her civic involvement includes the Committee for the Environment and Marine Education. However, in her application, she said she could only commit to a tenure of 1 year in the position instead of the 4 years that were advertised.
Friends of the library.
And she's on the board of the Friends of the Library. Joyce Marie knows her. I'm just going to pause here and ask if Elizabeth and Jane would like to add anything before I say who we recommend.
Well, I just want to say what a good job, Solange did in organizing all this. And we really worked hard. We deliberated. We sought, pros and cons for each. And I think it was a very careful and legitimate process. We had talked about how to look at each of the candidates. And I feel very satisfied that we did do a thorough job and have selected somebody who is will be, I think, a benefit to the village and the town.
Yeah, I second that. Solange did a lot of work beforehand, organizing and the outreach and advertising. And what I felt yesterday, like Solange said, we met for about 2 hours. What I felt yesterday is that we were really we were actually having to draw out negatives of each candidate to a certain point. I mean, there was strength across all 3 boards, and we really did a pretty, I think, objective job of figuring out where the professionalism kind of lies. In Solange, we had like a wonderful kind of turning point, maybe 2/3 of the way through our meeting, where Solange sort of guided us to say, well, how would you present this as a new job applicant, right? How would you present this as someone who can support the vision that we have based on experience? And when we reframed our conversation in that way, there was a bit of a sifting to the top in who we chose. So I do think it was a solid, grounded process, kind of out of emotion and really, really trying to almost nitpick through the little things that we thought might, be better or worse for each candidate. And I think that we would have been pleased with any 3 of the poets. And I do believe truly that we made the right choice. So I'm really happy. It was a wonderful process.
No, I want to say thank you to Elizabeth and Jane. At one point, we were debating the role of poetry in the community. We were debating what kind of poetry we're looking at. And we really, really got deeply into what the Arts Council is all about and, what the role of the arts is in the community. So I learned something from our session yesterday, and I'm very grateful for that.
Me too.
So the person we recommend, because Sarah Evans said she could only commit to 1 year, we felt that we really did want to stick to the advertised term. Melissa's residency and experience at about 3 years, we felt that she had potential to develop further. We felt that she could perhaps apply for Poet Laureate in the future. And so our recommendation is Michael Collins. We felt he's the strongest candidate. And we also recommend that when we reach out to these 3 folks, that Sarah and Melissa be involved. I mean, we have the names now of 3 people who want to be involved in the Arts Council and have great ideas.
At this point, I just want to invite you, Abby, into the conversation, because I know that you've been given some background information before this meeting as to the profile of each candidate. This is a position, for those that are new to the council, that is, it's a Poet Laureate of the town and the village of Mamaroneck. So it's a shared domain. And, Abby, shoot away and
Yeah.
ask questions and whatever. We'd love to hear from you.
How did you, thank you very much for, how did you present it? Like, what are they expecting to do in this role?
We put out a job description, which I can call up.
I think we should just
but-
talk it through,
Oh, sure.
just in interest of time.
We
Yeah.
used as an example, Mary Louise Cox had a lot of latitude in the position. And so continuing her legacy, certainly being involved with Poetry Live, where kids, high school kids and middle schoolers read their poetry at the Emmelyn was a given. Now that we have a poetry garden. But the way we put in the job description is that the Poet Laureate does reflect our community, does express our community. But beyond that, we listed some bullet points. We listed workshops with children. We listed programs with adults, that kind of thing. But we felt that we wanted to leave it to the Poet Laureate to be creative in that way. And also yesterday, Elizabeth O'Rourke had the great idea that she will be the liaison between the Poet Laureate and the council so that we are sort of all on the same page.
Would I be able to just get a copy of what they submitted or their poetry, just so I can,
Sure.
I'm not looking to take, you guys obviously can vote on your own, so that the town board can just see the candidates so they know something about them before they give their okay.
Abby, I can send you the original job description and the material they submitted, okay?
That'd be great. I don't have any, I don't foresee any real reason why they wouldn't support the same person you guys would. But I just want to give them the background material. But no, it sounds great.
Sure, will do.
Thank you very much. Nora has my email if you need it.
We should also say, Solange, that we met with Michael today.
Yes, we did. Marina and I, because we had our meeting tonight, and so we a little bit pressed for time. I gave him a call. He was available for a Zoom call, and so we met with him today at noon, just for a face-to-face. It was an informal meeting. We talked about his experience here in the village with his wife and kids, what inspires him. He talked about his work with the Hudson Valley Writers Center, with the children's programs there. And also he really seemed enthused by also teaching creative writing to adults who are learning English as a second language. And what impressed me about that is that's kind of a spirit of service and a spirit of giving. And I think that's definitely what we're looking for in a Poet Laureate. Marina, I'd like to also mention our proposal for a stipend, okay?
Yeah. So one new thing that we're proposing this year is to offer a stipend of $500 per year. And Abby, this is something that we can take up with you in the town moving forward, because we know that we're on board to make this commitment right now. It would be an endowed stipend. It's only $500 for the first year, but we have non-taxpayer money that we're prepared to dedicate to this. And Abby, if it seems like we're in a little bit of a hurry on this process, I just want to give you some background. It's because we're moving up toward Poetry Live on this month, on March 27th. And out of our own interest and just the timing and the way this whole thing has unfolded, we thought it would be a really good idea to get the new Poet Laureate identified, appointed, and on board ASAP, so that we can include their work and this appointment in the new anthology, in the anthology that we always print of student work and then of local poets. I just want to take a second to say also to Abby and to all of us that I think one of the best things that's come of this experience and this experiment in our first call for Poet Laureate is that we have established that we have a poetry community here in Mamaroneck, and it's only 3 people, but each one of them has a reach, and each one of them is really willing to activate themselves and to do their work to bring poetry to our community. So I think it's a win-win. We went with the more obvious choice as far as credentials, and as Elizabeth was pointing out, if we're taking this as a job search, one candidate came a little bit to the surface because of length of experience and frankly publications. He's been published a lot. So okay, so back to the stipend. We have two things to vote on tonight. The first,
Just one thing, Marina, if I might, because the original job description did not have a stipend attached to it. We got 3 incredibly quality applications on a volunteer basis.
That's right, good point.
And the subcommittee yesterday, we discussed that the importance of the work and the respect for the holder, that, we really should have a stipend.
Yeah, it's a small honorarium, $500, but it says something, and who knows what it will look like moving forward. We've never done this before, and we hope only to tweak our offering as we move forward. I want to pause here. Do you have any questions about the stipend in particular, Abby, or?
So are you asking us to share that with you, or?
Not at this point. I don't-
Okay.
We're not. So, I mean, we wouldn't do
Okay.
that to you, to ask you on tonight to make a decision on our behalf. I think this is an effort that we initiated, and we're prepared to stand by it. And we hope that you'll join us. I want to congratulate the committee once again. I think it's been a very, 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 very thorough process. I saw the applications as well. They're super impressive. I feel lucky. So know that there was a really thoughtful and thorough process that went behind it on our end. And, we just chose who came forward.
Okay, so we should be able to discuss it at our next meeting, which is the 16th. And again, you guys, obviously, you can appoint for the village, and we're not looking to reinvent the wheel on our end. We appreciate that you guys did the legwork on this, and I just want to run it, let them see who the candidate was and who they're appointed.
The way we envision it is that the future is bright between us. Like we can build a whole poetry community together with the town. So we're not looking to be exclusive in any way. We'd love you to come on board. I mean, you have so many artists and poets in Mamaroneck and in Larchmont. So I think it really helps us to work together.
Yeah, I appreciate you including me in tonight's meeting. So thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so
Solange, are we ready to vote on the stipend? I think, right? Does anybody have questions? I mean, it's not a stipend that it points to any kind of expectation or expenses. It doesn't cover travel or anything like that. It's just a simple courtesy honorarium that we're expressing. So with that in mind, I'd like to put on the floor a vote to approve a $500 stipend for the new poet laureate, which we recommend as Michael Collins. And that money will be coming out of our private account, which is Friends of Mamaroneck. I don't know what the name of it is. I don't think we have a name of it. I know what the numbers are, but it's a separate account. It's not our taxpayer account where we have discretion to spend as we vote. I can't hear you, Nora. I think you're speaking.
It's funds that have been contributed to the Arts Council for the Arts Council to install artworks and do artwork and do programs.
Mhm.
And it's separate from the village budget.
Thank you. So anyone in favor of this stipend, and would somebody like to propose approving it? Well, who would like to make a motion to approve?
I will.
Okay,
Elizabeth?
Yes.
Elizabeth, yeah.
Astrid? Astrid seconds.
Okay, Astrid seconds. Okay,
Great.
thank
We're
you.
on our way. The second motion would be to approve the appointment of Michael Collins for Village of Mamaroneck, hopefully later down the road, Town of Mamaroneck Poet Laureate.
I again will motion for that.
Okay,
second.
Elizabeth and Carla.
I think you have to, I think that the board has to appoint, so you have to recommend to the board that it be appointed. I think that's how
Okay.
it's gonna work. I think the village board and the town board have to make the appointments.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but we as a group have approved the recommendation of Michael Collins to
Mhm.
put forward to our village.
Okay.
And then, well, the town will do it themselves.
And our next meeting is a week from today.
Okay.
Okay. Good night, thank you.
Good night, thanks, Abby.
Bye. Thanks, Abby.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Abby.
Okay. So, thanks, everybody. That took some time, but I think that was a really important aspect of what we're doing and all the work that went into it.
Yeah, great job.
Mm.
So yay, we have a new poet. Well, nobody has been notified yet.
Right.
And we do have to wait for the approval process, but from our point of view, we've identified and recommended the appointment of Michael Collins, so.
Mhm.
Yay, yay. Yay to
Yay,
him.
right.
Yay to him
And
and yay
also,
to us.
I think it just as just a quick add-on, I think Michael has 2 full-length books of poetry that are published, so you can pop on and support him, as his arts council and buy a couple of his books and see what he's all about.
And we can have them at Poetry Live, Elizabeth. We've had previous poets' books there on the table, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, all good things. I want to keep it going now because now we're going to be a little bit under a time crunch. Let's go to Poetry Live. Jane, where are you, Jane?
Okay. All right. So for the new members, I just want to cast like how Poetry Live, what the event is like. So we have 5 schools, middle and high school students and their teachers. Each of the students who is participating has written an original poem, and that student will recite that poem at the Emlyn, in front of a lectern, and will be introduced, will say the poem, perform it. Some kids really, actually really do such a wonderful, wonderful job. And in the audience are their parents, their teachers, their friends or family, and it will be live streamed by LMC Media. And then eventually it'll be, I guess, just available for a while on YouTube. So it's very exciting. And then we hope that the poet laureate will be part of that celebration and be introduced and so on. So we have a lot of things that are going on with poetry, the Poetry Garden and just so many wonderful things. So here's what has to happen that day. So I do need at least 2 to 3 volunteers, because what happens is the students arrive. So the event starts at 2:30. The students arrive between 2 and 2:15. We have to register them at a registration table so that we know who's there and who isn't, who's missing, because we have a list from every teacher who the students are. So I need at least 2 people at registration, and the kids sign in.
I'll get the names, Jane.
So Melinda?
I'm
Wonderful.
happy with whatever you need that day. It's carved out on my calendar.
Okay, Elizabeth. Okay, Solange, I know, because Solange arranges the music
Joyce
and
Marie.
the interlude, and she and I get the flowers for the stage and prizes and so on. So right now we have Melinda, Elizabeth, Solange.
Joyce Marie.
I'll be there.
Okay, and Joyce Marie, did you
Yeah.
say? Yeah.
Michael.
Jane, I'm
I feel
here.
like we're an option. Michael, I see your hand in the back.
Oh, Michael. Okay, Michael, great.
Jane, I'm also here that whole week before. So if you need things like tablecloths, flowers,
Yeah.
I can do that stuff.
Okay, great. All right, so we have a good committee. So then I'll be in touch with Michael, and Solange and I are working together, and Solange will tell Joyce Marie, and Elizabeth I'll be working with, and then Melinda will let you know. So generally we get there, LMC Media gets there 2 hours before. We generally get there like an hour and a half before. And so as the kids are coming in, they wait in the lobby. We have some seats set up, and at a certain point, like about 2:15, everybody gets a ticket because the Emlyn has to know how many people are arriving and going into the theater. And then we need people like to just greet them and, welcome, to make them feel at home there. And then once they go in, there is seating in the front that's reserved for all the schools and any of the council members and so on and so forth. The mayor comes, he gives a very short talk. And then the audience sits behind all of these reserved areas. They can take any seat they want. So, just somebody standing there at the curtain saying, oh, yes, sit wherever you want. Yes, here, and they might have questions. Where's the ladies' room? And so
We'll do
on.
a little pre-team meeting before the event, Jane. We'll
Yeah.
do a little pre-team
Just to
meeting.
give everybody a sense. That's what it's like. And one more thing. If anybody has a good idea, what we can give the teachers, some small gift. We were thinking maybe of a poetry magazine, something to acknowledge the teachers and all of their contributions for getting their kids to write the poetry and, be part of the event year after year. So anyway, if anyone has another good idea, please just let me know. And
Yeah, I want to just let everybody know that this is well worth coming to the event for those of you who have not been before. Last year we had it on Zoom. You will be blown away by the poetry that these kids produce. It's downright moving. And you learn a lot about what's going on in the minds of young people if you're not in that milieu right now, but like 12 to 17-year-olds.
And there is an anthology published and that everybody
beautiful.
gets, every student, every teacher gets an anthology then that day at the end of the performance. And so that's very special also.
And our anthology features the rabbit this year.
Oh.
The Poetry Garden rabbit is the cover of our anthology.
Oh, that's great.
That's your teaser. That's it.
Jane, two
Right.
small thoughts on the
Jane,
Just
remind me
thoughts
what
on
the
the-
date is again?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it's
27th.
Monday, March 27th. It starts at 2:30. It usually goes till about 4, right around that time. It's at the Emlyn. So, yeah. Okay, great.
Thank you.
It's not for the public. In other words, all of you, yes, but we don't invite like the general public. It's really for people who are somehow attached to the students, the teachers, and all of us as the Arts Council. Okay.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks
Okay,
for the update. I'm going to jump to the Poetry Garden dedication. Anybody jump in whenever you want. I'm just going to try to move down the agenda, but the Poetry Garden dedication again is May 13. That is Friday, 11 o'clock. More details to come. I'm not going to go into that today.
Okay.
Except that, Elizabeth, I've got your chapbook right here. I mean, I've got Mary Louise's poetry right
Oh,
here.
good.
So if you want to come by, or I can't drive right now, but I'll, maybe one way or the other, we'll find each other in the next day or
Yes.
so.
Yes.
And then Christina, do you want to just mention that we have something on deck for the kids?
Yeah, so we're currently working on the Tortoise and the Hare reimagination. The Tortoise and the Hare comes to Mamaroneck. It's going to be a really sweet little book. Right now, it's still a bit up in the air. There are a lot of ideas. We are, of course, going to be including the fable itself, the reimagination, information about the artist, the sculptor, and lots of fun little activities for the kids. So there might be facts about tortoises and hares and how to act like a tortoise, how to act like a hare, something of that nature. Perhaps the scavenger hunt around the town that will eventually lead them to the Poetry Garden. Little things like mazes, or I was thinking maybe a search and find with a picture of the Poetry Garden and looking for specific elements within the Poetry Garden. So things of that nature, something interactive, something just fun and light. But there are a lot of different ideas coming through. So we'll get there.
That will be really fun.
Sounds great.
We are waiting the arrival of the tortoise. He's a bit slow, and so we're hoping he comes in the next week or so. you know, we are waiting. We thought he would have been here by now, but you know, he's a tortoise, so there we have it. I think he will be there by Poetry Live. That's my wish, that he will not only be there, but he will be, you know, installed, so he can't go anywhere. And that will be a really happy addition. So that ends our enormous half-hour long or more poetry section. And now we'll buzz through everything else. Thanks for supporting that. Did somebody leave or are we all good? Summer concert series. I'll just say that we are working with Emlyn still on the concert series, and I think I'll bring that to the next meeting. Because we're just narrowing down like what the talent is going to be. We have some good ideas. The Emlyn is absolutely helping us curate that, and I think we're going to have another good summer with that. Let's see, pop-up concerts. Larry, who most of us know, or those of you recently met, will be still happy to co-chair the pop-up concerts this summer. There are 4 of them. The theme that we're thinking about is jazz or soul, something lively, and that appeals to families or adults. And we're looking for somebody who would like to co-chair with Larry. You'll get a lot of assistance. It's a committee, but he is now a volunteer and he's spread pretty thin, and he said he'd be happy to do it. He's got the experience, but he would like to co-chair with somebody. So
I'll co-chair.
Carla, great.
I'll
Awesome.
do.
Yeah, you'd be great for that. Okay, I'll tell him, and I think you'll work well together. So the next thing is art film at the harbor. So
Marina, the 4th of July concert is on the agenda?
Oh, it is on the agenda. And Solange, I don't have a lot to report on an update that we didn't cover last time. But
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that St. Thomas Orchestra knows that we're going ahead, is very enthusiastic. We have a conductor. And if you are inclined to help out on the 4th of July, it is a spectacular event. We have a lot of help from the Parks Department and the village, but we could use some volunteers also.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Solange, the practice space has been worked out?
You know, they have no problem with the practice space. Remember, they were saying that they're okay with the courtroom if the musicians are okay rehearsing in there.
And are they?
Yeah, we just had our second rehearsal for the spring concert by the orchestra May 1, and masks were voluntary. And yeah, the musicians were fine. So yeah, it should be okay.
All right, so we're on our way there. There's a possibility that the School of Rock may participate. They're doing an event that day, and they'd like to use the stage in the afternoon. So I'll update you on that the next meeting. We're still in conversation with them. I'll move on to the art film at the harbor. I was in conversation with Jason at Parks and Rec, and they have their own summer film series, which goes really well for families, children. And we were talking about, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, doing an art film or a small art film series, maybe just a sampler of 2 art films this summer at the harbor. And that would be something that we would do. And the Emlyn is interested in curating that for us. They just have access and we can work on choosing the films. But I think that would be a wonderful thing on some sleepy August evening. And if anybody would like to work on that.
Oh no, we are.
Were you interested in that? Michael, can you hear me? Wait, did I think you were interested in that, or am I wrong?
Green is really expensive, as I recall.
For the art film?
Yeah, were you interested in that?
I can be. I don't know if I put in for that or not. I don't remember, quite honestly.
Yeah, okay, then
But if you need another person, I can help out with that.
Well, first of all, is anybody interested? It's not a big time commitment. It's a matter of working with the Emlyn. Oh, I thought of you because of the Emlyn, or Carla. Okay. Or both of you, if you want.
I'm like volunteering for everything tonight.
It's a nice, the people at the Emlyn are so wonderful, and it would be a kind of a nice niche thing to get involved with. But anyway, I'm putting you down, Carla. Michael, if you want to jump in, you're welcome to.
Thank you.
Michael, did you have any time to look into Shakespeare at the harbor?
Hang on, my dog's barking outside here. Yeah, I did. I reached out to a couple of people, a couple of companies that I know of. And both are kind of in the phase of trying to figure out their funding and their scheduling for the summer. Meaning, are they even going to have any time available in August? So I haven't had any substantive conversation with either company, but they know that we are interested. One is based in Portchester, actually. And the other one, I think they're based in the Bronx, but they do little shows here and there around Westchester and parts of the city and all that. So they're trying to figure out their scheduling, their funding for the summer, and they hope to have that squared away, they say, within a couple of weeks. The one that's in Portchester, I have more of a closer connection to, and they do like traveling shows in and around Portchester and Rye, and I think even into Greenwich too. So they're the ones that I'm hoping that would come through. I say, guys, we're right down the road here in Mamaroneck. Come on down and do a show on the harbor for us.
I didn't even know that. That's great.
Fingers crossed that they can figure out funding and scheduling and then get back to me.
That sounds good. You
one
may
more
want to
thing.
circle back to Shakespeare on the Hudson and see what they're up to this summer.
Okay.
Just as a
Yeah.
matter of, checking that off. They, other than the microphone or lack of sound system, they were great. Just, you might add that.
Okay.
And Michael, I did look up other, there is a company, again, I don't know if they're still intact, ShakespeareOnTheSound.org in Rowayton, in Norwalk on Rowayton Avenue. So I don't know how active they are, but they were listed. So,
Okay. I will, I'll give them a call.
okay, good.
Thanks,
Michael. I'm sorry, Michael, I will email you. It's Christina. There's like a lot of faces. Sorry. I will email you. I may have a lead if you are really scrambling last minute. So I'll email that to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got a lot of good leads. So good luck. We will hear back from you next month.
Thank you.
Melinda, Marine Life Center, the sculpture update.
Yes. So I actually spoke with the fabricator today.
Melinda, you're on delay.
The butterflies.
Melinda, is everybody else hearing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's
so
out
Melinda?
of Colorado. He's
Melinda?
Oh, sorry. Am I muted?
Yeah, now you're good, but
Can you hear me?
You're frozen, but
Yeah.
we hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You might have to turn off your video because we can hear you, but we don't see you.
Okay.
But we didn't hear you very well.
Try not to prove.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. I'll stop the video. Can you hear?
Yeah,
Can
we
you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Mhm.
Okay, great. That's how most people like it. Yeah, don't see you, just hear. Okay, great. So I spoke to the fabricator today from the Rise Above, who did the butterflies. He's in Colorado, and I spoke to him about what we wanted to do. He's totally on board. He needs about 2.5 months. He's about 2.5 months out. So we're looking at, he said he could make a May, June delivery once we decide on what we're doing. I've not been able to contact or get in touch with Kyle at Marine Life. But Christina and I are hopefully going to move forward on this and meet and figure out what kind of creatures we'd like to use for the sculptures. He's going to give us, he can't give us any numbers until I give him exactly what we want. So the idea would be something similar to the butterflies that were in Rye. We need to figure out how many we want, and he can get them. He's actually offered to deliver them to us, which is a huge save in money, because he's coming this way sometime this summer. That's basically where we are right now. So we need to basically decide how many we're going to want and what creature. That was his word, which I liked. which creature we would like to use around the harbor, and the sizes. So
Okay.
I wouldn't say this is I would hope that this could happen by June, you know, when people are starting to go to the harbor a lot more often. And
They also
that's
have to be painted, right,
kind of
Melissa?
it. So we're just waiting on Kyle. And if I can't get in touch with Kyle, to
Melinda,
your
can
point,
you hear
Melinda,
me?
maybe we work with Parks. I'm not really sure who else we would be involved with.
Yeah, we work with Park.
I'm not sure if she, I don't know. It says they're open. I've tried about 6 times, so I'm striking out.
We'll
Yeah.
find them.
So he would get them to us, and then we would have artists paint them. So we may be further out than June, depending on when we can get all this through. Yeah.
Melinda, can I offer one small little
You can't hear me?
like sneak hint? Can you hear me, Melinda?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll say it for minutes. I heard today, so the Brian Lehrer show on WNYC is doing 6 indigenous sea creatures that you didn't expect to see in New York. And they have like the spider crab, and like today was the spider crab, and he's doing a feature on 6 of these. So I wonder if that also might be a little nod. It's all through, you know, New York City and Long Island Sound. So you might just like have your picks right there for the sculptures.
That's interesting.
Great.
And I'm sure Kyle would also love to add to that too, but they're featuring it now, which is sort of apropos.
No, that's a great idea. Thank you. I'll check it out. So I'll keep everybody posted on that. It's just kind of where we are, but we do have the artist who's willing to do it. We just need to get numbers and a schedule. But other than that, I think it'll be really beautiful. And then we've got to, do a search for artists and that sort of thing. So, but I think it'll be great.
Thank you,
Is
Melinda.
anyone hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing you. I feel bad. There's not a good connect. You don't have a good connection, or we don't have a good connection with you. But do you want to just speak about the artwork at the regatta now? We'll jump to that. So, because I know that you're going to be speaking about that.
Sure. So I've reached out to a few artists. This is for what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just a brief update, because I know that we don't.
Yeah, I've reached out to a few artists. I haven't heard back, but it's to show at the regatta right at the entrance there. So I'll just keep you posted. I haven't heard back from anybody yet.
To all of us fans of the written word, Melinda and I were speaking about the possibility of weaving poetry into a presentation at the regatta. So, because not every artist can fill that space or is willing to loan their work for that long. So it might be a really nice way to do a hybrid presentation of painting or photography or whatever we do, and written word in frame. So since we have such an abundance of literary talent among us, anyway, thanks, Melinda. So you'll check on that.
Yeah, you bet. If anybody has any suggestions or ideas of anybody that wants, I'm happy to reach out to people too.
Okay.
I don't know, for those of you who don't know, at the regatta, our village hall on Mamaroneck Avenue, when you walk in, there are 2 walls, and they would very much like us to fill that space. We've done it before with artists. Right now, we don't have anything, and they're really missing the artwork there. So we'd like to renew our commitment and bring some artwork back to that space. Piper. We're going to move on to Piper. Where are you there? Can you just update us a little bit on marketing?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. So we met briefly last week, or 2 weeks ago, from a marketing standpoint, just to lay out a bit of a framework on how we want to think about marketing, and from a high level for the Arts Council. And then that will kind of establish the Northern Star, if you will. So all of our marketing will ladder back up to We're just making sure we have a consistent voice and branding, etc. So we were going to try to meet next week to really fill in that framework and then be able to share it with the council, hopefully in the following month or so. Marina, anything to add?
I don't think so. I know that you and Carla and me and I are on the committee. Christina, I don't know if you're interested in this or other things because you've already committed to other things. But does anybody want to jump into this as we begin the marketing? I mean, we're pretty clear about the structure, but if anybody has a marketing background or interest, speak now or speak at some point and let me know. But know that Piper's kind of heading it up, and we have some really good ideas on the table. And I think that we're going to start seeing the results of a more intentional communications campaign in the near future, I would say right around Poetry Live. And that is using our social media, using the Village website, and other things. So good things happening that we really need. I think that's it. Piper, I have nothing else to say that we need to
so
speak
I'll
about right now.
just be reaching out to coordinate that next step meeting.
Okay, thank you. The last bit that I have on the agenda, because Sherry is not here to speak about the craft fair, are the murals. And Carla, want to update us? This is something new to many of us, but Carla's going to update us right now.
Hi, everyone. John Pritz, who's the co-president of the Mamaroneck Historical Society, which many of you are aware of and know him well, he reached out to us. He's looking for assistance spreading the word about efforts to preserve some murals that are at Mamaroneck High School. They're on the walls there, they're historical. They either refer to James Fenimore Cooper's characters and books, or a couple of them just to his life here in Mamaroneck. He's gotten a lot of support from both the town of Mamaroneck, and Nora can speak to the details of this if you'd like. The Village of Mamaroneck, they're trying to locate new places to put these murals. They'll need new homes. And John is, raising money for this. He's meeting with the school district to try to negotiate how many they can save and what the process might be and who might be involved in it. But what he's looking to us to help out on is just spreading the word. So Marina and I had talked about this, that we could, as an organization, we can post a message of support on our Facebook page, on the Village newsletter, the library newsletter, any other things you guys can think of that would be, could get the word out that this is happening and get people interested and involved and speaking up about it. We were thinking about something, pretty generic along the lines of, we support our friends at the Mamaroneck Historical Society in their efforts to preserve these historical murals located at Mamaroneck High School. That being said, that we can do, something like that as an organization. If anybody wants more information and is interested in getting more involved personally, you can reach out to me. I was on the phone with John for, half hour, 45 minutes. So I have a lot of details that he shared with me. But also, if you are interested in learning more about this preservation, there's a ton of information on the Historical Society's website. Sunny Goldberg has interviewed him for her show on LMC Media. There have been radio interviews. There are photographs of these murals on the website as well. So you can really see what it is that they're trying to preserve. And that's it.
When I was in college, we had a visiting Italian professor who told us about a problem we were having in Italy with fresco thieves, where you could go away for the weekend. In the meantime, the thief would put a preparation on top of your mural, roll it up, and you came back and you didn't have a mural anymore. And I thought that you all might be able to find out how this was done. Apparently with the thieves, it was an easy operation.
Wow.
I think these murals are painted they're painted on a canvas and glued to the wall. So they're gonna have to cut them off. There's been a lot of conversation with conservators about it. And I think the prices may have changed, but they think it's $150,000 to simply get them off the walls. They don't have to be stored archivally. They can, they've been in a high school cafeteria or classroom since they were put up. I remember food fights. It's where I went to high school, eating with these.
Oh my gosh.
So they have not, they've not been in a museum or archival setting. And the village the town of Mamaroneck has more space. So, in town hall, and we all agreed to take a mural. I'm not sure that there's really room in the courtroom. We may have to move some things around and move some tables, but the idea is that they would be installed someplace together, because there's like a collection of 3 and a collection of 5. But the immediate goal is to simply get them off the wall and store them.
And save them. And I neglected to mention that the reason they need to be taken is they're doing a renovation. So where one of them is, the wall is coming down. Where some of the others are, they're going to put up a false wall there. So we want to be able to, or the Historical Society wants to be able to take those, preserve them, store them, and find a new home for them.
Carla, I may have missed it, but isn't there a GoFundMe for this?
Yeah. There is. If you go on the Mamaroneck Historical Society, there's a button you can press to donate, and they are looking for funds, obviously, because it's going to be an expensive process. But any of you that want to get involved in it, or just tell your friends, just spread the word. That's mostly what John was really asking for from us. He thought we would be a group that would be interested in this and prime for spreading the word.
Yeah, the history of how they were painted is really interesting. Art students from Yale came up in the 1930s. If you read about it, it's a worthwhile endeavor to preserve them. So I think lending our support is the right thing to do. Carla, you and I can speak about that. Maybe you can be in touch with Robert Ingenito, and we'll see if we can get some social media, basic social media support going.
We may have to pull Piper into this.
Yeah. Does anybody know how to post on Facebook? Oh, no, I'm kidding. They are not that bad. I just appreciate when he does some graphics for us, that could help. Anyway, we have ended before time, miraculously. So does anybody else have anything that they want to share or say?
How are you doing?
To ask a question, Marina. I'm going to call the 3 candidates tomorrow. Yes, and let them know.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll make sure it's on the village. I'll make sure it's on our work session and regular session. I may just have to do a regular session, but I'll put it on.
I'll let them know about the process.
If I were you, I might even call them tonight, but or Michael anyway, but it's up to you, whatever you think. But it's good news that needs to be shared for all of them. So anything else, anybody? Are we? Oh my goodness, it's very quiet. Okay.
Got a lot done in 1 hour.
Yeah, we got a lot done. This was a robust meeting, and our next meeting will likely be in person. So how wonderful is that?
Wow.
We will either be at the courthouse or we will be at the regatta. We'll find out. And that's a really happy thing, because the last time we met in person was July, I think. So this is a welcome thing. We can all say hello to each other. So that will be Monday, April 4th. I assume everybody did not have a problem getting the Zoom link on our Vomni email, because it's a little bit hidden where it comes from the clerk. It's not in the normal place, but we've all figured that out now.
Yeah, the volunteers don't get that email, so I just go to the village website and click on the meeting notice and.
Right.
But that may be a thing of the past by April. We may not be doing that.
That is true. So between now and then, we'll see you at Poetry Live for whoever can come.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll see you at the park by the tortoise. When we welcome, I'll let all of you know when the tortoise is actually planning to show up. So.
Oh, good.
That's all for me. Thank you so much, everybody. At the top of the meeting, before the meeting, Melissa brought up that she's looking for housing. And if anybody has any ideas, get in touch with me and I'll forward information to Melissa.
I mean, just, it's temporary, hopefully temporary. I don't need a lot of space. It's just for me. I have a
You know
small,
what, I'm gonna, maybe we should not record this. So if we end the.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
so-
sorry.
So we'll get to that after.